Hi, I'm going to talk about basic troubleshooting of receiver in the Canal hearing aids. Receiver in the Canal hearing aid would look something like this, where there's a portion which sits behind the ear and there is a portion which goes in your ear. Now, whenever the hearing aid is not working, which you might notice, there are a few basic things which you need to do. First is to check if the battery is fine. What you need to do is you need to open the battery door. Depending on your hearing aid, it would be at the bottom for most of the receiver in the Canal hearing aids. So you just open the battery, take the battery out and put a new battery in, and then see if the hearing aid is working. Best way to check if the hearing aid is working is you put them on. If you hear it's working, sometimes it's difficult to know, then what you can do is when you put a new battery back in, just put the hearing aid in your palm and keep it next to your ear, and if it squeals, that means it's working. Another way to check if the hearing aid is working is when you are wearing the hearing aid, see there's microphone behind the hearing aid. There will be few microphones depending on the hearing aid. Most of the newer hearing aid would have at least 2 microphones, and there will be microphone openings. If you just rub on the microphone, you should be able to hear the rubbing sound. That's one way to check if the hearing aid is working. So if the battery is not fine, you put a new battery in, it should work. If it's still not working, then it is likely that wax might be stuck in one of these domes at the outlet from the receiver. So it's very important that there's a small hole on this dome. It's very important that it's clear of wax or debris in order for you to hear properly. So it's important to check if it's not blocked with the wax. So how do you do that? You should have few kits or few tools with the kit you get from your provider. So there would be a tool like this. You would also have a brush like this. So you can use the brush and brush the dome off and see if the wax or the debris comes off. You can also use this tool to push it through the holes to see if wax would come off. Now you do the same thing again. You check and see if it's working. If it's not, then you can open this dome. What you need to do is you pull the dome off. Now if you see at the end of the receiver, there is what we call as a wax guard. You see the white thing there, that's called as a wax guard. What you will have to do is to check if it's blocked with the wax. Sometimes you would be able to see if it is blocked with the wax or debris. You can use the brush again to brush it off, or you can use a tool like this and try to see if you can get the wax out if it's stuck, and then you check again. You hold it in your palm next to your ear. If you don't hear the squeal, that means that it's still not working for some reason. Sometimes wax might be blocked and you can't get the wax out. Then what you do is, or what you can do is to replace this wax guard. I'm going to show you how to replace this wax guard. It doesn't need to be replaced very often, probably once in about 6 months or 3 months, depending on if it's all working fine, then you don't have to change it, but it's a good idea to just put a new wax guard once in 3 months or 6 months, depending on how much wax you get in your ear. So wax guard would look something like this. The box of the wax guard would look something like this, or something like this. Some of the companies, the box might vary, but it would be there in your kit. I'm just going to show you with this how to change the wax guard. So what you do is pull one of this out. Now if you see this one here, so there is a new wax guard white thing there which you can see. On the other side there's nothing. So what you do is you poke the other one into the wax guard which is on the receiver like this, and then when you pull it, the used wax guard should come out. and then on the other side there's a new one. Just have to push it back in the hole there. Okay. Now depending on how good your dexterity is, you should be able to do it, or your provider might have shown it to you as to how to do it, or you might have to take someone's help to do this. So if you find it very complicated or very difficult, it's a good idea for you to go back to your audiologist and get it done from them. And it's also a good idea to go back to your audiologist to get the full servicing done once in about 6 months at least. But if you feel you're confident of doing this, so these are the basic troubleshooting you can do. So usually what happens, most of the people who come who panic when the hearing aid doesn't work, this would be something which usually happens. One is that the battery might be faulty, or wax might be stuck at the ending. So if you take care of these two things, you would avoid about 80% of your appointments, and you should get the hearing aid working back in seconds. I'm just going to show a few other things. Now I'm just going to give you a couple of more tips. When you're changing the battery, always make sure you keep the hearing aid on the table, so that when you open the battery door, even if you open upside down, when the battery falls off, it's still there on the table. So if you don't have a table or anything below, then you would be searching for the battery. That's one of the things I tell my clients all the time. And also, when you replace with a new battery, if it's still not working, it's a good idea just to replace it with a battery from a different packet. Usually in a packet you get about 6 or 8 batteries. Sometimes the whole pack can be faulty, so it's a good idea to check the expiry date of the batteries, and also to just put a new battery from a different packet and see if it works.